Well, hello everyone. My name is J. Scott Samarco, and I am a Jobs for Life mentor. And I came to share about why it's important to mentor and how to mentor to this generation. And as you can see on the PowerPoint slide, there is a great need to multiply. There's a huge need to multiply in mentorship and also in leadership to reach out towards this generation. And I believe, the Bible hits it on the nail. And you can see we have one of the greatest examples to follow after in Jesus Christ and in his leadership. And he was a man that was engaged and engulfed in the culture. And I think a lot of times when it comes to mentoring, this word scares people. They believe that they don't have the skills or the tools to mentor, especially if they never mentored. But if we can look at the model in the life of Jesus and who he was as a person, it came naturally out of him. He took 12 broken individuals and spent, 3 years of his life investing in them, pouring into them, raising them up and empowering. And that is what we're called to do. We're called to reach people. We're called to meet them where they are and to speak into their lives and help raise the bar so that they can begin to become great at their job skills and even at their life skills. And the main thing about it is what we're called to do is just walk alongside of people. And I think we need to know how to best do that. And you, as a mentor and coming on to being a mentor, that is something that you have to wrestle with daily. How do I best walk alongside the person that I'm mentoring? What do they need, or how can I best pour into their life? So I want to show a video. It's a short clip by Tony Dungy. He was an NFL coach. He's now an analyst, and he's going to share about the greatest example that we have as far as mentor.
I do think for me, the idea behind mentor leadership and the ultimate example is from the Bible and from Jesus Christ. Jesus was the greatest mentor that we've ever had. He helped everyone. That was his mission. He did it by really pouring himself into 12 men who then he expected to pour themselves into others. And it was a great example. And the natural question would be, well, that was Jesus. He was perfect. He had all the answers. I could never do that. But the 12 guys that he poured himself into weren't perfect. They didn't have all the answers. They did rely on him to supply a lot of those, but they were able to use the talent that each one of them had, the gifts they had, to then mentor other people. And I think that's what God expects us to do. He's given us things that we're very, very good at, and we can pass those along. I think he expects us to pass those along.
So as you heard from Tony Dungy, he's basically saying how Jesus modeled for us and used his life to show us what it looks like to mentor to the people around us and to go reach people. In fact, in the Bible, in Matthew 28, the Great Commission tells us to go and make disciples, but in other words, to go and mentor, to go and invest. And I think if we're all honest, we have to speak from a place of conviction, because we all can do a much better job of reaching out, of recruiting other mentors to go and reach other mentees. And that is what we're called to do. Our life should model what it looks like to be a mentor every single day. And in the next slide, you see, what is a mentor? What is a mentor? A mentor is essentially a person that has devoted their time to invest in a person that is going to place investment tools, values, and principles and great qualities, and sharing who they are as a person to help raise the mentee up. So as you can see on the screen, a mentor is a person who motivates, who inspires. They become the coach. They are people of vision, helping the mentee see beyond where they are at today and helping them see where they can become in the future. It's about, as I said before, leading by example. And that's what we as mentors have to do. We have to show them who we are, and because of that, they can too begin to get inspired by just about your leadership skills and the qualities that you bring to the table. And as a mentee, they may not know what they bring to the table. They may not know who they are as a person. They may be insecure, especially if they're beginning out in a new job or a new role position. They're starting from scratch, and there's a lot of information being thrown at them. And this is why we need the mentor to come alongside them, to calm them down, to speak into their life and help them take the steps it takes to be the best at their role. All right, so why are mentors needed? Why the mentor? We see that being a mentor is so much more than about you, but it's about others. Another great commandment in the Bible is to love your neighbor as yourself. But first, the question that should be asked: do we love ourselves? Do you truly value who you are as a person? And I believe if we don't love ourselves, how can we then go and pour into our mentee, or the person that has been assigned to us to invest in? And then it says mentoring is about others. And to be a great mentor, you first have to know yourself. And once you know yourself, once you know your qualities, what you're strong at, your weaknesses, you then can begin to know how to best sit down with a mentee and know how to best engage them. And one thing about when it comes to mentoring a mentee, you don't want to stay in your comfort zone. You want to lead your mentee with creativity and innovation, because as time goes and the mentee begins to grow, you're going to begin to get stretched. And sometimes you may be sitting down in a conversation, you're like, I'm kind of out of words and I don't know what to say. And this is where creativity and innovation needs to come into play. So take your mentee out sometimes and allow them to see something that they haven't seen before. And in our environment, in our culture, in Benton Harbor, where you're going to be doing your mentorship, a lot of these individuals may not have been or traveled to different places to see different environments. And I think when we take ourselves out of our environment and go to a different place, we can begin to see things from a new perspective and a different perspective. And that's huge when it comes to the mentee. We want to stretch them and allow them to grow mentally as people. And then another thing, we want to create a culture and an atmosphere of excellence with our mentee. So what does this mean? So we want to set the bar high. We want them to know what our standards are for them. And we want to value our words, and we want to value them and their time. So we want to try hard not to break promises. In other words, to break our words. Like if we say something, we have to go all the way out of our way to make sure that we follow through on our word. Because when we lose trust in a mentee in that relationship, it's broken. And what happens is the mentee checks out of the relationship, and they checks out of who you are as a mentor. And there's a quote that says, "To be trusted is a greater compliment than to be loved." And this is a quote by George MacDonald. To be trusted is a greater compliment than to be loved. What this is saying is you don't want to break this trust. You want to have this trust with your mentee, and you want them to know that you have their back and you have their best interests at heart. And as you go along and you continue to grow in your relationship, you want to make sure that you make adjustments along the way. And you want to make sure that you count the costs. In other words, you want to know what you can commit to, and you want to communicate this to your mentee. Don't overcommit yourself. If you know you have a busy schedule, you want to make sure that you create time weekly or every other week or monthly, or what works best for you and your mentee. And you want to make sure you show up, when it's time to sit down with your mentee. I think that's very important when the mentee sees in their mentor consistency and faithfulness and loyalty. And they begin to get more excited as time goes in your relationship with each other. And one thing to remember, as a mentor, you have to have a heart to mentor. I think a lot of people sometimes they want to get into mentorship because it sounds cool, or it may be another thing to check off their list, but that's not the case when it comes to mentoring. You have to have a heart and a passion for it, Because one thing about a mentee as an individual, they know how to spot out a fake. They know how to spot out if you're being real or not with them. And once they spot that out and they see if you're not real or authentic, then again, they're going to just want to just check out of that relationship. So you want to just bring who you are to the table and let them know that you're there for them and you're there to serve them. So what are some of the marks of a mentor? And this has come out of Tony Dungy's his book called the Mentor Leader, and he talks about there are marks that identify us with our leadership and being a mentor. So again, a mentor leader, you have to be able to explain why this path is better than the other. See, a mentee, there's someone that's in the process of figuring out their role in life or where they're going or where they're headed. So as a mentor, we should be able to articulate why you should take this path or why you need someone in your life to invest in you. And even as mentors, we need people investing in us as well as we travel along. And it's a story in Ruth in chapter 1, verse 16. Ruth says to her mother-in-law, Naomi, she says, "Wherever you go, I will go." See, what's happening in the story in the Bible, Naomi had lost, her husband and her children. And she was in a very low and depressed state of mind. And she told Ruth, and she said, "You know what, just leave, go about your life, leave me alone. I can live life on my own." And Ruth says, no, that's not the case. I'm going to stick by your side. And as a mentor, when you're mentoring your mentee, there's going to be times in their life where they're going to face, some tragedies, or they're going to go through some hardships, or they're going to be faced with very trying times, and they're going to want to give up. They're not going to want to reach out to you. They're not going to want you to be in their personal space. And that is when you have to stay in the trenches with them. That is when you have to let them know, like, look, I understand what you're going through, but I'm in this with you. And I'm here to support you. I'm here to be here, to listen to you. And I'm here to walk it out. And that's what a great mentor does. They walk with their mentee through the good times and even through the bad times. So again, some other marks of a great mentor is you have to remain secure in who you are. There may be times where your mentee is going to challenge you. There's going to be times where they're going to disappoint you and they're not going to show up, or they may say something that offends you, but you have to remain secure in who you are and know that God has called you to this specific individual and He's called you to be there for them. So instead of taking it personal, just know that you're there to support them and to encourage them even when things don't go the way that you want it to go in that relationship. And you want to be genuine and authentic. You want to show that you have a heart for them and a heart to best support them. And again, you want to stay available and approachable. So as you begin to develop in that relationship with your mentee, you want to make yourself available. Let them know up front that this is the best way to approach me, or this is the best way to contact me. Whether that's face-to-face, whether that's on the phone, through text, you want to make yourself available and approachable. And you want to have that friendly spirit where they know as the relationship grows, they can come to you about anything. And just know that you can make a difference. And this is key, that the relationship is about you helping them make a difference in life, helping them make a difference in their work environment, in their neighborhoods, in their home. We want them to become, the next leaders of this generation. And it would be selfish of us to not invest everything we have in them. So it says, your goal is not to become their friend. Your goal is to serve them and get them to the next level in life. So our whole goal is just not to become best friends with them. Yes, there will become this trust, this bond, and this friendship. And as time goes on, that will develop. But our goal is to help them get above and beyond where they are at today in their life. And it says every successful mentorship serves its purpose. And we have to keep this in the back of our mind, that the season that I'm called to in their life is going to serve a purpose for a greater reward in the future. You know, it says what you sow, you therefore then reap. So if you're investing time, know that it's going to pay off, and it may not pay off in the season that you're investing in, but one day it will pay off in life. Because think about your life and who invested in you. Think about the first person that took time out in their life to mentor you. Think about the impact it had on your life, and how you were challenged, and how you wanted to be inspired to go and inspire someone else. You know, I think back in my life at the age of 17, when we had an assistant coach in high school. He took the time out every single day to talk about life, to ask me how I'm doing as a person, but also he took the time out to challenge me, to help push me and to motivate me to step away from what I was doing at the time and to walk into new habits and to new patterns. And that's what we have to keep in the back of our mind, that we're challenging our mentee to a new path of life. And this is a great question to ask yourself. It says, am I prepared to have great success and not get any credit for it? Are you prepared to have great success and not get any credit for it? So you're going to spend a lot of time investing in your mentee, a lot of time, being there for them and pouring into them. And because of that, they will grow. They potentially will become great at their role in their workplace. And, you have to expect that they may not thank you. Or others will look at them and begin to give them credit for their growth and their hard work. And you have to be okay with knowing that you did what you had to do, and you did your best. And you have to be confident that you don't need a thanks. And not saying that they won't thank you, but you just have to make yourself. You have to prepare yourself to not be thanked, because it's not about you. Again, it's about the mentee. And this quote at the bottom says, "A mind once coached never returns to its original shape." So think about your beginning of the relationship with your mentee. Think about where you're going and where you want to be. And as your mentee begins to transition to new avenues in life and to new places in life, the whole goal and purpose behind the mentor relationship is for them to not return to its original state, for them to now begin to go and mentor somebody else. And one thing to just encourage you with, just remember that you got this. You got what it takes to be a mentor. There's so many tools and resources to help you grow as a mentor, but this is a journey, and it starts with now, and it's going to continue to grow and develop as you spend time with your mentee. So you got this. You got what it takes, and you're going to make a great mentor to your mentee.